So I'm reading this book called Ultra Processed People, and it's just got me thinking about one of the aspects we talk about in the Being Human project, presence. Being here now matters. And that invites us to kind of look at bodies and place and time and the cultural moment that we're in. So I've turned the camera around so that you can see the place that I'm in. I live near the sea. It's really important in shaping who I am and kind of part of my life. But also bodies are hugely important, and we have all sorts of cultural conversations and contesting about the importance of bodies and what that means. But I want to think today a little bit about food and why do we eat this stuff that actually the authors of this book and some of the other programs that we watch around this are arguing isn't food, reading this ultra processed stuff that isn't food. And if we are what we eat, I think there's some truth to that, then why aren't we eating food and what is the impact of the stuff that we eat? So apparently 60% of the calories that the average person in the UK takes in come from ultra processed food. And if you want to know what that means is if you turn the package over and look at the back labels, you will see things like emulsifiers and diglycerides and palm oil and gums and maltodextrin and modified cornstarch. And the concerns are beginning to be raised, and the evidence seems to be suggesting this does have an impact on our health. It may well have an impact in terms of illness and disease and other things, because we're wired to eat food, and food is something like a carrot from the ground, and then we process that. Yes, of course we do. There are times when we're going to put that in boil it up and mix it with other products to make a soup. That's processed food, minimal kind of processing. But then we have this ultra processed, which has all these other things in it to give us a longer shelf life, to make things taste better. It raises big questions for me in my own life. I'm not saying that doesn't mean I'm ever going to eat fast food again. I still do from time to time, but I definitely think about it a bit more. And I'm definitely wrestling more and more with what I eat. If our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, then what we eat is part of an act of worship, what we take into our bodies. But what I love is that rather than this being an overwhelming, like another thing to beat us up with, actually the Bible has practices like fasting that really help us to kind of moderate this. And I actually happen to be in a fast right now for something totally different. And it just got me thinking again of how that helps us to break off and to resist to some extent the power of food in these moments. I love the practice of Sabbath, rest away in our 24/7 culture, fasting that steps us away from like the unhealthy food that often comes into our systems. And these biblical practices just seem like they're made for this moment, but actually been around for thousands of years. And so my question, my kind of challenge is, what are you eating? If we are what we eat, and I think to some extent that's true, then what are we eating and how is that shaping who we are? And also, have you tried fasting? And what would it look like? Even just a short, skipping one meal and then maybe moving towards 24 hours to, in a small way, resist some of the power that food, and particularly kind of processed foods and the more addictive aspect of these foods, have over our lives. One to think about as we reflect on being ultra-processed people, but being human. Be blessed.